Welcome to Seattle Public Utilities Ask Evelyn Live, where we answer your questions about recycling, compost, garbage, and other trashy topics. I'm your host, Becca Fogg, and this week's episode, Clearing the Air, how to deal with household hazardous chemicals in your home. And we have a super special guest this week. We have Julie Mitchell joining us from King County's Household Hazardous Waste Program. And of course, Pat's here to make a clean sweep of today's question. Let me get folks logged in here. Hi, Pat.
Hey, Becca, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Hi, Julie. Julie, we're going to have to get you turned.
Oh,
We gotta get
sorry. One moment, please.
See, I appreciate that Julie has joined us with a different perspective for this week because we always need one.
Okay.
nicely done.
Yeah. Hold on one moment, please. My
No problem.
apologies.
No
Let's get this going.
Awesome. Guys, we are super excited that you guys joined us this week. Having Julie Mitchell on is fantastic. She is full of so much great information and works for King County's local household hazardous waste program, which is a mouthful, but they do a lot. So, Julie, why don't you tell us a little bit about your role there?
Yeah, thank you very much, Becca and Pat. Thanks for having me on. And I manage King County's hazardous waste collection programs. And so we take the household hazardous waste and the small business waste.
Cool. Super important task.
Yeah.
So, and because we have Julie on this week, we have a really awesome question. So, Pat, as always, you want to kick us off here?
Happy to kick it off. We got another question into the Ask Evelyn inbox. This one comes to us from Luis. The question is, hi, Evelyn. I've got a bunch of household cleaners from under my kitchen sink and out in the garage. They are partially full, and I want to get rid of them. They are partially full. And I know that I shouldn't pour them down the drain, but can I put them in the garbage? So Luis has questions. What are the quick answers?
All right.
Well, that's a great question, and so thank you very much, Luis. And so we do not want you to put those partially full containers into the garbage. We want you to bring them to one of our facilities. And one of the really good things about coming to our facilities is it's free. So that's yes. So you can get rid of cleaners, you can get rid of automotive products, you can get rid of pesticides, and you can bring those to our facilities. We have two in Seattle, there's one in Bellevue, and then there's a mobile collection service that goes around to different areas of King County. Because I know, Becca, you are so popular, you and Pat are so popular that you're just all over the place outside of Seattle, I know.
I love the name of that rig, the Waste Mobile.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Totally. And I mean, Julie, this is actually kind of a cool thing is like some people might ask us, like, why is it important that they take things to household hazardous waste?
Yeah, one of the reasons why is because, like we like to say in the hazardous waste businesses, a little goes a long way. So it doesn't take very much hazardous waste to get into our water, into our waterways, or to get into the ground if it gets put into a landfill or if it gets spilled on the ground, and then it seeps down into the groundwater, which just keeps the pollution going. And we live in such an environmentally sensitive and environmentally beautiful place. We want to make sure to keep it safe for both the humans and our animals and everybody.
Totally. Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
So, yeah, I mean, that's huge. And it's free, right? And there's the Waste Mobile. There's the north location, which is at 125th and Stone Way. The south location is across from the South Transfer Station. And of course, folks, we'll have information linked in below the show. So you'll be able to access some of that information about the different locations. But Julie, you got to tell us, I mean, there's a lot of cleaners. Like Lewis is talking about like a whole variety of cleaners, and not all cleaners are the same, right? So how do we know what to take?
Yeah, so we've got some buzzwords that people can look for. people can look for caution,
Mhm.
warning, danger.
Okay.
Right.
And so those are words that you'll see on some products. And so just let me let you know that these aren't like super dangerous things. I mean, these are things that are currently under our kitchen sinks.
Okay.
They're in our bathrooms, they're in our tool sheds. So these aren't things that are just gonna like catch fire, but these are also things that aren't good for the environment.
Right.
So if I may, can I just show you a few examples of some of the more common things that we have? All right.
Absolutely.
So
We love a good prop.
we might okay. And my apologies if this is kind of backwards for folks, but I want to show you an example. This could be under any bathroom
Sure.
bathroom sink, and this is like a tile cleaner.
Mhm.
And so we talked about some buzzwords, and I'm going to try and get it right up there, but
That's
I
fine. We
believe
got
this.
it. We got you. Yeah, that's
Yep.
fine.
Okay, and it says warning
Okay.
on it. And so if this isn't really something that you want to use anymore, let's say you want to go to some safer alternatives, and I believe we've got some links to some safer alternative
Yep.
cleaners, and you say, yeah, I want to do that. I want to get rid of this.
Okay.
This is how you know this is something that we accept at our facilities.
Okay.
And
That's a
there's stuff in it.
great point you just made, Julie, about seeking safer alternatives. And we talk about that on the show sometimes about being a conscious consumer,
Yeah.
purchasing the products you need. Now, sometimes you have a tough job to do, so you need that more, that more the tougher product. So might need that. But also with a little elbow grease or a little research, you can find viable products that are not dangerous, do not have warning or caution symbols on them, and can do the job for the homeowner that they need.
For sure.
Absolutely. And in some cases are cheaper.
Yeah. That's true. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you showed us, Julie, so warning, caution, and danger. So sometimes they're on the front. Are there other places where they could be listed on a product?
Yeah, absolutely. And so this is something, I've got a poochie. And so a lot of us have pets. And so this is sometimes when the pets have some oopsies,
Sure.
then we need to clean up after them. And so this is something, is one of those products, but we don't see it on the front. So sometimes it's not always on the front. So if we turn around on the back, if you can see that it says caution.
There's a lot on there. So it's
yeah, and there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot on there. That's the thing. Sometimes we have to like sift through it. Go ahead and use it up. But if for some reason you find you don't want to use the rest of it and there's stuff in it, then go ahead and bring it to us for sure. Then there was one other thing that I just wanted to show because we talked about some safer alternatives. So there's a little bit of research that you might want to do. So here is a product, and if you can see it, it says Green Works.
Yeah, it's backwards for us, but we can see that.
And it says natural bathroom cleaner. But if you take a look, it says caution, and it's an irritant, an eye irritant.
Yeah.
So sometimes you want to be careful about what you think are safer alternatives, and that's another reason why we want to go ahead and take a look at those buzzwords.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
Or look for those buzzwords.
I found one in my garage, and it has the word danger on there.
Oh, danger, danger.
So I don't know if you can see that. It's not focusing very well, but it's a can of
spray paint.
Rattle can spray paint.
Yep.
Had to paint something over, and I wouldn't have assumed that this was that way. But what is the reason for that? You think it's the type of paint it is, or because it's compressed?
It could be a couple of things, yeah, Pat. So it could be that it is compressed content, but what's inside. So sometimes we'll find that on the aerosol cans of some of the insecticides for ants or for wasps.
Oh.
And so you'll see danger on those. So that's the double whammy. It's the compressed air and it's the pesticide, insecticide stuff that's inside.
Okay.
So, and if we have a second, I was going to show a couple other things that actually don't have labels, but we will still take, and we want to take at our facilities.
Right.
Absolutely.
So these guys right here, you can see this.
Yes.
Oh, the button batteries.
The button batteries, the ever-present button batteries that are in everything. They're in bike lights, they're in watches, they're in
so many.
Any number of devices.
Yep.
So we take these at our facility, and if you've noticed, I have tape on these.
Yep.
Yes.
And so there are small amounts of mercury in these button batteries, and but also sometimes if the terminals rub together, they will catch fire.
Yeah.
So we always encourage people, please, please, please tape the terminals. And I just took some good old-fashioned Scotch tape and I just slapped it on there and folded it over,
Awesome.
and it took 2 seconds.
Totally.
So yeah,
Great. Yeah. I think
and then
those
that
types
makes
of
for safe
products.
transportation.
Did you also have a CFL bulb for us to look at?
I do.
Because those are
So
the
this
kind of
is
products
this.
that, you sort of use as a consumer. You kind of, they become spent lighting or spent
Right.
batteries, and you can kind of keep a shoebox or a baggie around the house where you can kind of put these things in there and kind of save them up for your HHW trip.
Totally.
Correct. Yeah. So there's that guy right there. And then just real quickly, again, the
Oh,
batteries.
yeah.
So you might say to yourself, what's the difference between these two batteries? And one is alkaline and one is rechargeable. But as you can see, they look exactly the
Oh,
same.
yes.
So if
Identical.
you can't tell, if so again, the rechargeables, if they rub together, there's a potential fire danger. And if you can't tell the difference, just tape them
Yeah.
Okay.
and be on the safe side.
Cool. We actually, Julie, we get a lot of questions to the Ask Evelyn inbox about batteries. And on our Where Does It Go tool, that is always in the top 10 of items that people are looking up what to do with them. And I think it is very confusing because alkaline batteries don't have the chemistry that makes them quite as, I don't know, explosive. You would know that better than I would. But we're always telling people exercise extra caution, just take those terminals that make sure that you're okay, because then they're not going to be rubbing against each other. And one quick reminder is that none of that stuff should ever go in the recycling.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
yeah,
Correct.
a lot of people see kind of the metal casings. And they're like, oh, I should put that in the recycling, and please don't. Those are terrible in there.
Yeah, I think it might be a
Then,
good moment to talk briefly about what can go in the recycle bin, Becca, and that is,
yeah.
some of these soaps and cleaners that have a warning or caution on them for eye irritant or something. Once that product is finished, you've used all the
Yep.
product, you can just do a quick rinse of the jug and it can go in the recycle bin. It's when you get into the oils and degreasers or something like that. Like these are the types of containers we do not want to see in the recycle bin, even if it's empty.
Yeah.
At that point, it's garbage. So
Yeah.
like an empty, a little quart of oil, one of those plastic
Right.
jugs. If it has had motor oil in it, we do not want that in the recycling.
Yeah, absolutely. And they don't, because they're empty, because household hazardous waste, you guys are in the business of safe disposal. So if there's no more product, there's nothing to dispose of, and the container can just go into the garbage. So I wanted to ask, I know that my feed was a little shaky in the middle there, but are there limitations to the amount of materials that customers can bring to household hazardous waste?
Yeah, there is, and that's a great question. So for most materials, you have a 50-gallon limit, so that's quite a bit
That's a lot.
for a household
That's a
for
lot of stuff.
for a household amount. And we do have a limit on motor oil, antifreeze, and gasoline,
Okay.
and that's 25 gallons.
That's a lot.
Even that is still quite a bit for household amounts. Yeah. And then one thing I do want to emphasize is that we do not take latex paint. So we take the oil-based paint, but we don't take the latex paint. However, there is a paint take-back program now. So you can go to paintcare.org and get more information on that. But yeah, so you can get rid of your latex paint there, but we will take your oil-based.
Awesome. So we just got a ton of information from Julie and all of you guys who've been watching. Really good stuff. So, this episode's going to be available for you to rewatch. But of course, we'll have links to all this information. You can look stuff up there on King County's local hazardous waste website. Of course, we'll have links. You can always look it up on the Where Does It Go tool. But yeah, lots of great information. And Lewis, thank you so much for your question, because it allowed us to bring Julie on. Such a good question, and one that we get quite often. So to recap really quickly, you're looking for 3 words: caution, warning, and danger, right? And you want to use all that product up if you can. If you are done with it and there's still some in your containers, go ahead and take that to one of our local household hazardous waste locations for free, people, for free. So
That is correct. Very good.
It is a super great service. I use it all the time. Pat, I know you use it a lot as well,
Sure.
you know, because stuff's just out there and it's all about safe disposal.
Yeah.
Julie, I think you put it super well. It really is just to protect our environment. It's such a beautiful, environmentally sensitive area that we want to keep it that way. So it kind of takes all of us. So, and I agree with our latest comment here. You rock, Julie. Thank you so much for joining us. We are so excited that you could join us, and we would look forward to having you back because we get lots of questions about this. So
Sounds good. All right. Well, thanks, everybody.
yeah. All right, folks, really quick reminder, the show is run on your questions like Lewis's today. So make sure that you send them to us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or you can send us an email at askevelyn@seattle.gov. And we will see you all next week. Keep those questions coming. And again, yeah, Julie, thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited to have you. So much great information.
Thanks, Julie.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
All right. With that, I'm Becca Fong. Life's simpler with less stuff.
And I'm Pat Kaufman. Remember to recycle right. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Everyone.